We all have a shadow, and we often find ourselves in triggered states if we don't become friends with it. Have you ever asked yourself the following question? How did I end up here? If your instincts roll you in the wrong direction, often you are not alone. It happens to many of us. But when you work with your shadow self and make peace with it, your inner compass guides you in the direction of your desired destination. This is a video about 5 techniques you can start today to make peace with your shadow self so you can enjoy creating an amazing life and become a little more happy every day. Carl Jung teaches us how our shadow is always with us. Much like our arms or our legs, our shadow self is not going away, so it's best to become friends with it. But before you can become friends with your shadow self, you first have to find it. The first technique is to spot the shadow. We're often unaware when our dark shadows are calling the shots. Here are 3 tactics we can implement to bring the shadow self into the light. Hot buttons and triggers. Accept your hot buttons and welcome your triggers. Use them wisely. Our triggers are windows into our trauma. When we are triggered, we are often operating from our shadow selves. We respond from childhood wounds that are buried deep inside our physiology. Our wounded inner child grabs the microphone and spews intense negativity at the person who triggered us. However, when we observe what triggered us and reflect on our emotions soon after the triggered state, we see how our intensity doesn't match the triggering event. Triggers are an opportunity for growth because when we practice observing our triggered states, we gain insight into our issues. We may learn that we have abandonment issues or rejection issues, and knowledge is power because now we know what we're dealing with. Judgment. When we judge another, we're often judging ourselves. Carl Jung and many great thinkers teach us how when we're judging someone, we are often unknowingly judging a related thing about ourselves. For example, we might judge someone who overeats because we hate ourselves deep down for being addicted to cigarettes or weed. In the book The Power of Now, author Eckhart Tolle teaches us that when we observe our pain without judgment, we release it faster. When you catch yourself judging someone, practice self-awareness and watch your relationships get better every day. Projection. Have you ever witnessed a cheater accuse someone else of cheating without evidence? That is projection. Projection is when we extend unacceptable feelings about ourselves onto another person. By observing when we project onto others, we gain insights into our shadow. For example, if you find yourself telling someone that they have fear of commitment and you have no evidence, it's possible that deep down you have the same fear. When you are self-aware that you are projecting, you are one step closer to making peace with your shadow self. Which brings us to the next shadow work technique. Embrace the shadow. A great therapist once told me to have a cup of tea with my inner child. The idea is that when my inner child and I become friends, we can unite on our mission to have a great life. Sometimes during the aftermath of a triggered state, I will tell my inner kiddo that I got his back. I understand his trauma, and as an adult, I promise to give him what he didn't receive as a kid. Try having tea with your inner kiddo if that concept is easier for you to grasp than uniting with your shadow. There is no right or wrong approach. Whether you visualize your shadow or your inner kiddo, if you two are uniting, then you are on your way to becoming a little more happy every day. If you like becoming a little more happy every day, please subscribe and gently tap on that like button. And then have a cup of tea with your shadow. Number 3, cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy works. It gives us tools to help us get in touch with thoughts that are driven by our shadows. These thoughts are categorized into groups called cognitive distortions. We are able to get in touch with our cognitive distortions through journaling exercises or by working with a cognitive behavioral therapist. Journaling can make us feel better in less than 10 minutes. One famous journaling exercise created by Dr. Aaron Beck, MD, considered a pioneer of cognitive behavioral psychology, is called the Journal of Dysfunctional Thoughts. It is an exercise that elucidates our reactive thoughts and puts them into categories called cognitive distortions. After we categorize a reactive thought, and we rate the intensity of emotion that it generated, we feel relief, often in less than 10 minutes. Search Journal of Dysfunctional Thoughts and List of Cognitive Distortions on Google for more information, and by the time you find this video, I may have links in the description to a downloadable PDF. Therapists. I've had 2 therapists. I fired the first one after our 3rd session, and I received lifelong tools from the second one. I'd recommend the second therapist to anyone. I cannot recommend enough how helpful a good therapist is. It may take patience to find a good one, but the return on investment is worth the effort. See the video at the end on how to shop for a good therapist. Number 4, our physiology. Therapists, doctors, and personal growth coaches, healers from across the globe, teach us how important physiology is when it comes to healing trauma. In the book, The Body is Your Subconscious Mind, neuroscientist Dr. Candace Pert teaches us how our emotions are the result of intelligent cells and chemicals moving within our bodies. Tony Robbins teaches us how we can change our states using his triad technique, and the first part of his technique covers how to adjust our physiology to feel good. Wim Hof overcame crushing depression by cold water therapy and breath work. Both Tony Robbins and Wim Hof plunge themselves in freezing water every day. It's no secret that our physiology holds our deep secrets. So when we are seeking to make peace with our shadow, it's wise to assume that the shadow lays deep within our physiology. It's possible that the most effective way to make peace with it is less thinking and more action. Action that releases what's trapped in our bodies. Below are 4 practices. First one is breath work. I practice Wim Hof's technique. Wim has a free guided breathing exercise video that you can follow along with on YouTube. He also has a downloadable app and a free email course. His breath work makes your blood more alkaline, and it makes you feel balanced, healthy, and even a little high. Search Wim Hof guided breathing exercise to learn more. Cold water therapy. Wim Hof was called by nature into an icy lake to deal with the extreme pain of losing his wife. He felt relief from his depression after plunging into frigid waters. Universities got wind of Wim's claims, and since then, science has proven that ice baths or icy cold showers pump our dopamine levels and boost our immune systems. We don't have to plunge into icy lakes to bond with our dark sides. As Wim says, a cold shower a day keeps the doctor away. Rebounders. Like a toddler in a crib, legendary personal growth coach Tony Robbins bounces up and down on a rebounder to change his state. The rebounder moves every cell in our bodies, clears our lymph nodes, and gives us a nice buzz. I bought a rebounder just before the pandemic of 2020, and I could not believe how great I felt after bouncing on it for 15 minutes. The rebounder is by far my favorite physiology hack because of how fun it is and how good I feel during and after a bounce session. Number 5, meditation. Meditation is another proven tool that helps us release stress and trauma that is trapped in the body. My favorite meditation technique is called Ziva meditation. It's by Emily Fletcher, and it's not difficult to practice like other forms of meditation. I've experienced some profound epiphanies doing this meditation, and it led me to a 3-month period where I had cried more than I had in the previous 10 years. A lot of unstressing happened, and I believe Ziva sparked it and helped me let go of the baggage. We don't have to be ruled by our shadow. We can have ice cream with our inner kiddo and connect. When you get triggered, welcome it. Take a deep breath as soon as you recognize that you're in a triggered state. Then, pull out the journal and have a conversation with your shadow or your inner child. Turn these shadow work hacks into habits, and you will watch your life unfold in amazing ways. And you will become a little more happy every day. Thank you for watching.